Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel, or of course welcome to my channel if you're new. If you are new, then hello, lovely to meet you. My name is Alex, and if you are new here, make sure you stick around and subscribe. If you're not new and you've been here for a while, then why not make sure the notification bell is switched on just so you're notified of every single time that I upload. Now for today's video, I have a super exciting one because I'm finally sitting down and doing my part 2 review of the new Revolution and Monsters Inc. University collection. Now this would have gone up a whole lot earlier, in fact probably straight after my first review, had Revolution sent me everything that I ordered. I was actually missing one of the mini palettes, and yeah, I couldn't film until my replacement arrived, so apologies that this is going up a little bit later than expected. But what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking all 4 of these eyeshadow palettes. I'm going to be walking you through them, showing you what they look like, showing the swatches of them, and then I'm also going to be inserting a tutorial with each individual palette. I could have done a look using all of the palettes, but I know not everyone wants to buy every single palette, so I thought this is a bit more fun this way. We can do a look using each one, and hopefully this will help you decide if you want to pick any of these up. So if you'd like to see what the palettes look like, swatches, tutorials, and my final thoughts on them, then please keep watching. All 4 of these retail for £5.99 each, and the first palette I did a tutorial on was this one. This is the Mike and Sully inspired scare card palette. This is what the packaging looks like if you would like to focus, and I love the packaging for these little palettes. They're so cool. I mean, I love the packaging of all the collection, but these are so cute. So they look exactly like the little Shrek ones they did, and I personally love those palettes because they just did them so well. You'll have to excuse what the palette looks like. Obviously I have used these prior to filming this video, so they're not as beautiful looking as they were, but you'll be able to see it properly in the tutorials. This is what the Mike and Sully palette looks like. Now, because this is a scare card palette, you have their scare card on this side and the palette on obviously this side. These are so cool. You have so much information on here. You have both Mike and Sully's height, where they're from or what their home is, and when they were born, and you also have their scaring record and some information about both of them. Literally so cool. I absolutely love it. So yeah, this is what the Mike and Sully palette looks like. I'm going to throw on the swatches on screen and I'll dive straight into the tutorial. Okay, so here is the Mike and Sully inspired scare card palette. Firstly, I'm going to take the shade Best Friends and I'm going to pop this all on the lid and in my crease. Next, I'm going to take Big Monster, which is a beautiful purpley pink shade, and I'm going to buff this into my crease. Next, I'm going to take Scare Student, and I'm just going to use this to buff the top edges of that, and then I'm going to go back in with the pink and blend it all together. Now I'm going to use the Raw shade. Now, it didn't really give much, but it does pull more blue than pink, but overall the shimmer's a little bit sheer. Then I'm going to take the green shade and pop that on my lower lash line. And lastly, I'm going to use College Life for the inner corner and brow bone. So here is the finished look with all of the shades, and then bam, here we have it with some mascara, and this is my finished look. Next palette I used was the Randall inspired scare card palette. So cute. Obviously Randall is fully purple, so I was expecting some really beautiful purple tones in here, and that is exactly what we got. We got pinky purple tones in here, and we did have, well, you'll be able to see better in the tutorial, but this was like a purple and pink marble shade, which was really cute. And again, you have Randall's scare card here. Again, love the scare card detail here. They just absolutely smashed it with the packaging. So that's what the Randall palette looks like. Again, showing you the swatches and then diving straight on into the tutorial. let's dive into the Randall eyeshadow palette tutorial. So this is what the palette looks like. It's absolutely beautiful. Firstly, I used ROR in my crease, and then next I used Frat Brat, and I use that to blend out the crease shades. Shades are absolutely beautiful and pigmented. Then I'm taking Roommate and I'm buffing that just above the previous shade for a clean blend. Then I'm using Disappear, which is the marble shade, and again I'm popping this on my lid. These do act more like a topper, by the way. Then I'm taking Screams and I'm adding that to either side of the shimmer. Then back in again with Frat Brat and my awful angling on my lower lash line. Then I'm taking Breaking Rules and I'm putting that in my inner corner and brow bone. So this is the completed look. It's a very beautiful soft pinky purpley look, and then bam, this is what it looks like with a little bit of mascara on, and yeah, this is the completed look. Next, on to the other two palettes in the collection. So firstly, I use the Don Colton inspired palette. He is part of Ooze Macappa, which is the team obviously Mike and Sully was in the Scare Games. Packaging of the palette, and then this is what the Don Colton palette looks like. This is definitely one of my favorite color stories, just because it is a full like neutral palette, and this is generally something I would reach for. And then again, you have his Scare card here, which is so cool. Definitely pause to read if you haven't got these, because it's such a nice touch to this collection. And then we also had a marble shade in here, which is called Mrs. Squibbles. Love it. Now we're on to the Don Colton eyeshadow palette. So this is one of my favourites. It's beautiful. I love this colour story. Firstly, we're taking Tentacles and I'm putting that in my crease. And then I'm taking Genuine and I'm using that to buff out the purple to give it that more smoky look. Then to blend the top crease, I'm taking President. This is a really nice soft transition shade, and then I'm going back in with the other shades to blend it all nicely together. Then I'm going in with Party and I'm putting that on my inner and outer corners just to give it a bit more dimension. Next I'm taking Dream, popping this all on the lid. This shade is absolutely beautiful. I love it so much. Then I'm taking Kind either side of that just to blend it into the mattes. Then back in with Genuine on the lower lash line. And finally, for the inner corner and brow bone, I'm taking the marble shade Mrs. Squibbles. So this obviously has different tones in it, so it doesn't pull all gold, but you definitely can see the reflection. So that was the finished look, and this is what my look looks like with a bit of mascara. Let me know what you think. Lastly, we are on to the art inspired palette, which funnily enough was the one I was waiting on to do a tutorial with. So this is the packaging, and again, art is in Ooze Macappa. I really love this colour story as well. It's very beautiful. I love the warmness of it. You have a pop of like purpley pink, have some pink shimmers in here, an orange toned, a deep neutral, a lighter transition shade, and I actually used all of the shades in this palette for my look, which I very much enjoyed. And then again, you have our Scare card here. So that is the last palette. I'm going to show you the swatches of it and then into the tutorial. Last palette out of the bunch, we have the art inspired palette. This is what it looks like. It's a bit more brighter. I really love this one. So firstly, I'm taking Just Chill and I'm putting this in the outer corner of my lid. Next, I'm taking Free Spirit and I'm putting that above that and also blending it to the front of my lid as well. Next, I'm taking Philosophy Major and I'm blending that above the purple. And then I'm taking Loving Life and buffing that above that to make the blend a lot more seamless. Then I'm taking Energy Something, I didn't say that, and I'm putting that all on my lid. Now, it didn't do much for me, so I'm taking Enthusiastic on top of that, and it just elevated the look so much. I'm glad I added that on top. Then I'm taking Dream Job and I'm buffing that on the outer corner of that to blend it in. Then I'm going in with Free Spirited all on my lower lash line, and lastly I'm taking looking furry, and I'm putting that in my inner corner and brow bone. So this is the completed look. I really love this one. It is much more defined and bold than the Randall one, and yeah, I love this. Let me know what you think down below. Okay, so those are all of the scare card palettes, the swatches and the tutorials. Now let's sit down and discuss my thoughts on the mini eyeshadow palettes. Firstly, I want to start off on like a positive note. I really appreciate the packaging of these mini palettes. The fact that they added the scare cards to one side of it, I just really appreciate that. I think it's such a nice touch and something you can read about the character as well. Like, I really enjoy that. In terms of colour stories, I'd say the Mike and Sully one is probably my least favourite, just because I just didn't find this palette to be cohesive enough for me. Like, you definitely can create a look like with just these neutrals, but trying to incorporate all of the shades in here for one look, I found that a little bit difficult. I don't know if I like the look I did in the end. I don't know, you'll have to let me know down below. I really like the Randall colour story. I just think it lacks a little bit of depth, but I love the pinky tones in here. But my favourite colour stories of this little mini palette collection are definitely the Art and Don Carlton palette, and I can see myself reaching for this one so much because it's such a beautiful neutral palette and it has a lot of depth in here, which I appreciate. Now let's discuss formulas, because I do have some thoughts on this. So firstly, the mattes were really nicely pigmented. They were really easy to blend on the lid, and I enjoyed all the mattes that I used across all 4 palettes. The shimmers, however, is where I have a bit of a negative opinion. All 4 of the palettes had one marbled shade in them, and it was that darn putty formula that creeps up on us every now and again, and it just didn't give me anything. It really lacked a pop, you know. Like, I love a good blinding foily shimmer, and those marble shades just don't do it for me. They're a very cool idea, like especially with like the Sully and Randall one, because it's a mix of like, you know, their fur and skin texture and stuff. I really like that idea of it, but the formula of it just didn't execute it as much as I wanted to. So not a fan of the marble shades in the palette, but the other shimmers were really good, very pigmented, went on the eye beautifully. I think I added, was it the Randall palette or the Art palette? I can't remember. I think it was the Art palette. I initially used the putty shade, but then I went in with one of the normal shimmers and it just brought it back to life, and I was so happy with that look after. So I love the normal shimmers and the mattes. The marble shades, putty shades, not a bit of me. I just don't think they give anything, and yeah, they're a bit hard to use as well. Apart from that, that's it. My only negative comment was on the marble shades. Everything else, I absolutely loved these mini eyeshadow palettes, and I definitely think they're good for people who don't like massive eyeshadow palettes, because I mean, that other eyeshadow palette in the collection is huge. Okay, some people might find that really overwhelming and you might want to just go for these little mini ones, but ultimately the collection brings me so much joy. I loved using this collection so much. Please let me know down below what was your favourite part of the collection. I would love to know. And we have had sneak peeks for Greece. Oh my goodness, Greece, like the Greece. I am so freaking excited for that collection. I think it's coming soon. They're saying it's coming soon. Fingers crossed it's ASAP, because I cannot wait for that, and you bet I'll be doing content on it, so make sure you stick around and subscribe. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please let me know by smashing the thumbs up button, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.